We stand stuck in this bizarre game of gender supremacy, with the hate that will soon destroy any traces of compassion and respect to any other gender, and forgot about equality. Justice is being robbed away based on gender stereotypes. You know what sucks? When people tend to assume your life is easy and successful because of your gender. Sometimes it does, on both sides of the spectrum. But the problem starts as you claim only one gender is enjoying this privilege. On the contrary, only a set of people are relishing it. Still, an entire gender is accused and hated day after day when you have no freaking clue about anything on what's happening in their corner. This video is about men, a gender which is often accused, judged, insulted with no context. Before diving in, let me be clear. There are many issues and problems that women face every day, and I am a serious believer in equality, and solving them would be great, and that's what I hope for. But there are millions of people who address their issues. But what's your take on problems and sexism faced by men? Who is talking about these issues? People didn't even realize that this exists, nor cares to react, and somehow it's okay to ignore this, right? And this problem is much needed to be addressed if we believe that justice is a right for every individual regardless of gender. Now people say women face more problems than men ever do, so stop complaining. To those people, these aren't complaints, and I'm just stating the facts that people are so afraid to accept and too self-absorbed to realize. And you can find more answers as you watch the video. These things happen to men more often than people ever imagine. But you know what? No one gives a damn about it. Because you're a guy and you need to deal with it. And that's how the world works, and that's how the society wants us to function. We are entitled to deal with sexism, racism, fat shaming and hypocrisy with no fight back or hard feelings. Because you're a guy and you deserve it, dude. You are privileged to this shit. And somehow if we talk about this, we are portrayed as misogynists and women haters. This might startle many people in India. A man being subjected to domestic violence seems unbelievable to us as a society. Fundamentally due to the extreme gender stereotypes that we have inherited for centuries. In India, no law supports justice for men. Forgot about laws for men, how about gender neutral laws? Somehow in every single scenario, we assume men as an offender and we arrive at a conclusion very quickly and judge him. On what basis do we assume this? Of course, the gender. If this isn't being sexist, I don't know what is. I read this example somewhere, let me illustrate. Close your eyes. Now visualize a criminal and a victim. Let me guess, criminal is a man from lower middle class background and the victim is a young lady, right? That is what we as society view. But when we look into the statistics in the case of a murder, attempt to murder, majority of the victims of these crimes are men. Criminals in the case of murder, attempt to murder, cheating, robbery, fraud, female numbers are rising rapidly. Even though it is contrary to what we just imagined, the mindset ingested in us by the society says men are violent and criminal. Thus the view. Do you know India's rate of wrongful convictions is at its highest in years? Several innocent men are living in prisons now more than ever for the crimes they didn't even commit based on false accusations and pretenses. In a country where we believe 100 culprits can be acquitted but even one innocent should not be punished, this is what's happening. Women are innocent until proven guilty, whereas men are guilty even before proven. Is this equality and empowerment we are talking about? Why does this differ when it is a guy? 498A, a law which is introduced to protect daughters of this country from harassment and dowry, is most misused law, and this is officially declared by the Supreme Court. The laws that are supposed to provide justice and protection for women are turned into living hell for men who are in wrong relationships and marriages. Almost 60% of the cases are proven fraud, with the scenarios where the wife accuses the husband and his family of dowries and harassment when he wants to divorce her because he caught her having an affair or can't handle her abuse anymore. Recently, a situation happened where a wife accused the husband and his family on harassment after being caught having an affair. The wife accused the members of the family of harassing her in the complaint. She even mentioned the name of a 2-year-old child, which is also taken into the account. That is how pathetic and flawed our law is. And there are thousands of cases where parents of a girl file a rape and kidnapping charge against the guy when they found their eloped daughter with her lover. To preserve their family's name, they chose to destroy this guy's life. Many girls who crave revenge on their ex-boyfriends claim they were abused, assaulted and raped in their relationships. Without any hesitation, these guys will be charged within days. And after in trial for years, they were proven innocent. At what cost? Their name, life, career, all are long gone. Not just that, in the case of divorce, most usually than not, mother gets the child custody. Even if she is not stable, even if she is the reason for the divorce, even if she is a repeated offender. And the pity in the most of the cases nowadays is, She remarries and leaves their kids at an orphanage, whereas the wrongfully convicted husband loses his life in the jail. Alimony, child support, educational support, equal share in the assets. This is what a divorce costs. If this is a mutual decision, then it is fine. But what if it is under falsehood and taking advantage of the law? What can we say? That's how the system works. Lawmakers never bat an eye at this flawed justice. The sad thing is these people who made false accusations and claims will not be punished nor prosecuted. No law, not even a single fucking law charges them for abuse of power. When a man goes public about facing domestic violence and abuse or harassment at the hands of his wife, not only his masculinity and manliness is questioned, but he is also ridiculed for not being able to stand up to women. Both of these biases are dangerously problematic. They are the products of the same patriarchal order that cheapens women and whatever is considered feminine. How do you expect a guy to open up and express the abuse he faced as a kid? Do you think men don't face any sexual or physical abuse as a boy? Think again, this happens, but more often they shut themselves and pretend nothing happened even when they have a dreadful trauma haunting them. Because most of the time people laugh it off as it is nothing as a guy. We are supposed to enjoy this, right? These are the societal norms. I read this post of a 16-year-old boy about the situation he faced, which precisely explains my argument. This guy is waiting at a bus stop somewhere surrounded by some middle-aged men and women. Soon one female approaches him and offers herself $1,000. Shocked by this, he panics and moves away. Later when she left, an uncle around him laughs and says there is nothing to concern. And somehow it's funny for this middle-aged dude for the way this young guy reacted. Now just for a second, replace this young boy with a girl. Will the middle-aged dude and the people around this girl will still laugh it off like it's nothing? Just think. The dude who approached this girl would be beaten to death and will be arrested. As I said, this explains people's mindset. A guy irrespective of age is always available to be sexual and it's okay if women advances sexually over him. And why is it okay? What makes it a silly circumstance? So if a guy is raped or abused or creeped out, that's funny for this society and that's nothing wrong with this world? Reservations, scholarships, job opportunities, tell me where you find equality in this country? And still people bring up the gender pay gap. So this is my question for you. Who will hire a guy and pay more if a girl can do the same job with efficiency at lower salary? If so, all women will be doing all the jobs around the world and no man will be hired because of their expectations on salaries. But the reality is when we are looking into the stats, men and women mostly work in different sectors, which is one of the biggest reasons due to the difference in this so-called gender pay gap. While men choose dangerous jobs, overtime, extra hours, jobs in STEM fields, which means science, technology, engineering and mathematics, which contributes to their higher earnings, whereas women chooses more comfortable cubicle jobs, nursing jobs, jobs in arts and don't prefer extra hours overtime or take maternity leaves. Don't get me wrong, there are several women in the world who earns more than men. These women are successful and earn more because of their career choices, priorities and hard work. But the people who argue about this gender pay gap, they tend to forget about these facts and stats. And there is this latest trend that men don't need to protect women because it's offensive and being sexist. If you offer a seat to a woman on a bus or a train, you are being sexist. If men agree and stop doing these things, then they will argue that men are useless, need to man up, give her a seat, protect her and respect her. I mean, what the hell? What are we supposed to do? Who is dictating these terms? I will end this video with one final example. A social experiment is conducted on how people would react if they find a guy insulting and slapping the girl and a girl slapping and insulting a guy. While the majority of the people when they saw a guy abusing a girl tend to intervene and pull him away from her. And within second crowd gathered and tend to notify the authorities. But when the roles were reversed, they saw the girl insulting and slapping the guy but they chose to walk away. This experiment continued for more than an hour and no one intervened. After this, the host asked the people why they chose to ignore the guy even when they saw her abusing him. Most of the answers were they thought that the guy must have done something or commented on something which led her to the reaction. So they assumed that it was the guy's fault even when they saw him being abused. Do you need any more proof to explain the hypocritical stereotypical thinking that led the society we are living in? And I heard in many cases people asking why women will make up these stories and why they will falsely accuse unless they went through this. Why would women lie? #believe women. So instead of proofs and evidence, we just need to trust her words. And what about the voice of the guy? So we need to believe her, punish him and ruin his life with nothing proven. Are you kidding me? Do you think it's impossible to make up these stories? I mean, do you ever watch Harry Potter? That was made up, bro. Do you know why men's rights movement is needed not just in India but worldwide? Almost 76% of suicides consist of men. 85% of homeless are men. 70% of homicide victims are men. 40% of domestic abuse victims are men. 64% of victims of longer prison sentences are men. 92% of deaths at workplace are men, and men are more likely to suffer 3 to 4 times more prison sentences and severities compared to women for the same crime. Unnatural deaths, less life expectancy, and almost 6 times more boys are employed as child labor than girls. And there are many schemes to help girl children. But what about the boy child? Under any scheme, service or opportunity, women, children and elderly are always given primary preferences. And men will always be the least priority. But people still think it's easy to be a guy. And the truth is, that perception is never going to change. And that's why we need our rights to be recognized. And the men's rights movement is significant for the future. Every guy should be careful, true and strong to fight for our rights. Recognizing the problems and standing up for the injustice is the first step. If people think that fighting for men's rights means to hate women and ignore their problems, then please grow up. These issues can coexist, battle can be fought together. And this is the start to recognize the need of the hour for the better future that celebrates people equally regardless of the gender. Please share this video and express your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe.